Chapter 66-58. Charlie smiled and said, "It's not grand. It's convenient. I have a good relationship with Orville. So let's just treat it as a free meal with him." Claire asked hurriedly, "Isn't this inappropriate?" Charlie smiled and said, "There's nothing inappropriate. Last time I went to help his friend with Feng Shui, he owed me a big favor." Claire was helpless and said, "In my opinion, Mr. Hong introduced the business to you. So it stands to reason that you owe Mr. Hong a favor." "How did it become that Mr. Hong owes you a favor?" Charlie laughed. "You don't understand this, right? When a customer comes to us to look at Feng Shui, it's the same as going to a temple to ask for blessings. It's not a commercial act in essence, but a way of helping others. So that's why you go to the temple to buy amulets. And you say you're asking for favors even though you've clearly spent money." At this point, Charlie said, "Orville's friend needs someone to help him with Feng Shui. And he asks Orville for help, and Orville comes to me for help. So Orville owes me a favor, and his friend also owes him a favor." Claire listened to Charlie's clear and logical talk, nodded as if she understood, and said, "Then we can't let Mr. Hong spend money. When you order dishes later, just order less." Charlie smiled and said, "I have no problem. You have to ask Orville if he's willing." As the two talked, they got out of the car. And Orville had already come out to greet them. "Oh, Master Wade, Madam Wade." When Orville saw Charlie, his attitude was naturally beyond words. Charlie smiled and asked him, "Is the box ready?" Orville immediately said, "Don't worry, Mr. Wade, everything is ready. The diamond box has the highest standards." Claire knew that the consumption of the diamond box here was at least 6 figures, and hurriedly exclaimed, "Mr. Hong, ways are expensive. How can the two of us afford such a high standard? Just eat something casually." Orville immediately said, "How can that be done? Whenever Madam Wade comes to Classic Mansion in the future, she will definitely be received with the highest standards. Otherwise, how can I show my respect for you and Master Wade?" Claire didn't know what to do. Charlie patted her and said, "Let's go up first. Otherwise there will be too many people in a while." Claire didn't understand what he meant, but nodded and went in with him and Orville. When Orville arranged the two people in the diamond box, Tajuana's motorcade was about to arrive. Some reporters who followed Tajuana's motorcade found that the vehicle did not go to Shangri-La after entering the city. So they immediately reported the news back. As if Tajuana's first stop in Oris Hill was not to go to the hotel. Therefore, the media began to speculate where her first stop would be. Most people speculated that she was going to visit the famous attractions in Oris Hill. But this did not seem to be logical. After a long journey, it would be most reasonable to go to the hotel to rest first. As for those famous attractions, she would stay in Oris Hill for a few days. There was no need to rush. She could go to visit them as soon as she got off the plane, right? Many fans on the internet also began to discuss it. Everyone began to speculate on the same question on the internet. And all kinds of opinions were spread out at once. When the motorcade drove into the parking lot of Classic Mansion, the media and netizens realized that Tajuana's first stop in Oris Hill was to taste the local food. The name Classic Mansion also entered the eyes of people outside Oris Hill for the first time with the media reports. Chapter 66-59. Tajuana's motorcade stopped downstairs of Classic Mansion. Several bodyguards got out of the car and surrounded the two sides of it. A staff member got out of the co-pilot seat and opened the back door. Tajuana and Trevor got out of the car one after another and walked towards the main entrance of Classic Mansion. The media reporters who followed them hurriedly got out of the car to take pictures. Some media reporters even rushed to the bodyguards and asked, "Miss Sweet, why did you choose Classic Mansion as your first stop after arriving in Oris Hill?" Is it because you have heard of Aurus Hill's delicious food? Tavanna smiled and said, yes. I heard about this place before I arrived in China. So I came here to taste the food as soon as I got off the plane. Orville was serving Charlie and Claire in the diamond box at this time. The staff said through the intercom, Master Wu, you should come down quickly. A big star is coming to our restaurant. Orville was very surprised and looked at Charlie. Master Wade, is your friend here? Yes. Charlie nodded and said with a smile. It's more appropriate to say that she is a client. You go to greet her. Orville hurriedly said, Okay, Master Wade, please wait a moment. I will go to greet her now. Claire asked in shock. Hubby. Could it be Tawana? Charlie smiled, yes, it's her. Claire was surprised and happy. Didn't she just get off the plane? I saw on the news that her first stop should be Shangri-La. Why is she here? Charlie smiled. Her team hired me to be the Feng Shui consultant for her 20 performances. The contract amount is also quite large. As the host, it is also a courtesy for me to treat her to a meal. Ah? Claire's eyes widened. Her team wants to hire you as a Feng Shui consultant. Do these Americans believe in this? Charlie nodded and said. She didn't believe it before, but now she does. Didn't I help Mr. Matsui to look at Feng Shui last time in Japan? They were also quite convinced by the side. Claire asked him nervously. Then are we going to have dinner with Tawana later? Yes. Charlie smiled and said. We will have dinner with her and her boyfriend later. And just let her promote Classic Mansion for Mr. Wu. Claire nodded gently and asked. Then we should be able to take a photo together, right? Of course. When Orville came down, Tawana was accepting a simple interview with reporters at the door. She did not accept the interview when she came out of the airport, but only answered one question. The media reporters originally thought that they could interview her at Shangri-La, but they didn't expect the interview location to be changed to Classic Mansion. After briefly answering a few questions from reporters, Orville also came out from inside and invited Tawana to move to the diamond box. Tawana said to the reporter, I'm sorry, today's interview ends here. My team will arrange an exclusive interview time another day. And I will invite you to participate then. After that, she and Trevor turned around and followed Orville into Classic Mansion. The staff declined the media reporters' request to enter. But these media reporters did not leave. Chapter 6660. On the contrary, more media reporters and fans who got the news rushed to Classic Mansion. For a time, Classic Mansion also topped the hot search list on social media. People were curious about what was so special about this restaurant that a star like Tawana rushed to taste as soon as she got off the plane. Orville didn't know that the overwhelming wealth had begun to fall on his head. He took Tawana and Trevor to the diamond box, and said to Charlie and Claire, Master Wade, Madam Wade, I brought the two distinguished guests up. Call me at any time if you need anything. When Tawana saw Charlie, she couldn't hide her excitement in her eyes, and said very politely, Hello, Mr. Wade, and Mrs. Wade. It's a pleasure to meet you again. Trevor also hurried forward and said respectfully, Hello, Mr. Wade, Mrs. Wade. Charlie nodded and said with a smile, Please take a seat. Let me show my hospitality today, and invite you to taste the special food of Aurus Hill. Then he said to Orville, Mr. Wu, Miss Sweet is visiting your restaurant today. And tomorrow your restaurant will become the most famous restaurant in China. If I remember correctly, the market value of Haidilao Hot Pot was close to 100 billion Hong Kong dollars at its highest. If you can make your Classic Mansion a national, or even global chain, maybe you will have the opportunity to build a listed company of your own. Orville was stunned and asked him, "Master Wade, do you mean to let me open a branch?" "Yes," Charlie said, "tomorrow your place will become a place where fans will compete to check in. And this popularity will not go down for a while. You must take this opportunity to open branches, and let your classic mansion spread all over the country." Orville had never thought about making Classic Mansion bigger and stronger before, because he himself was a man of the underworld. The reason why people in the underworld like to open restaurants is that they can entertain all kinds of friends in the underworld. It's just that he pays more attention to food. So he made Classic Mansion into a really delicious restaurant. But even so, he didn't think about expanding his business. However, Charlie's words made him seem to suddenly open up a new world. If he can really create a nationally famous catering brand, put aside how much money you can make. Just the sense of accomplishment alone will never be able to experience it in the city of Aurus Hill. He was so excited that he couldn't help asking Charlie, "But can you give me some advice and tell me what to do? To be honest, I opened Classic Mansion just as a small business, and I don't know how to make it bigger and stronger." Charlie smiled and said, "Don't worry about this. Let's take some time to have a good chat later." Orville is his confidant. He has been absolutely loyal to him during this period of time. Charlie has never been stingy with him in terms of elixirs and cultivation. Now, it is natural to help him run the industry. The dog farm construction fund that he helped Orville get before has exceeded $100 million. No matter how much the dog farm is renovated and built or even expanded, it is impossible to use so much money. He only needs to take out half of the funds to enable Classic Mansion to achieve the first phase of expansion. But he can't say this in front of his wife. After all, in front of his wife, he is just a feng shui master. So he reminded Orville to have a good chat in private when he had time. Orville naturally knew what was going on, and was very excited. He quickly said, "Thank you, Master Wade, for your advice. When you have time, Orville will humbly ask for your advice." "Tomorrow," Charlie said. "Let's take some time to chat tomorrow." "Okay." Orville nodded heavily and said respectfully, "Then Orville will not disturb you, your wife, and the two distinguished guests from dining." Orville left the box, and only Charlie and his wife, as well as the young couple of Tawana and Trevor, remained in the box. Trevor saw that Tawana still looked at Charlie with eagerness. So he deliberately said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, I want to tell you good news. I am going to propose to Tawana."